Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Roach.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our Paradise Season 1, Episode 5 reaction and review. I cannot even begin to describe to everyone how lit this show is, where every single week they do at least one thing that causes me to go crazy. In this one, it is the big, let's put it into the sky, a message of they're lying to you in the closing minutes.
This is where I wish that Paradise had not dropped 3 episodes at once, making it feel like this is basically the 3rd episode. Because, I mean, lots of us binge watched 1, 2, and 3 back. And then it's like, and then you got the big episode 4 all about Billy and what happened. And now you're in episode 5, which feels like episode 3. And it's like, here's the message in the sky. Here's this reveal about Presley having the tablet of the president. Did she kill him? Did she not? Did she have just an opportunity where she showed up there to get information and took the tablet and he was already dead? I mean, there's so much that was revealed in this episode that I'm just like, guys, you should have had a much slower release than this.
Yeah, I'm loving this show. I mean,
I love it.
At the same time, I wish it was going on longer. I wish there were more episodes. I wish the pacing was a little bit slower. It feels to me a lot like Dan Fogelman, creator, went into this show sort of thinking, I don't want to be that guy who comes out with this show that's this big, high concept thriller, and people never get all the answers because for one reason or another, maybe Hulu cancels the show, maybe things don't go according to plan. So it was like, I'm just going to make this so that, you know, we've heard there's a 3-season plan, but we've also heard that, okay, a lot of what we're seeing this season could potentially be wrapped up this season. And it certainly feels like we're going to get a lot of answers by the finale, which is great, but it's also moving really, really fast.
Very fast.
Okay, we have so much to get into here. We have to talk about the message. We have to talk about Presley. We have to talk about Cal making pasta. There is so much, but before we do, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we will be here through the rest of Paradise with theories, thoughts, opinions, and there's just so much material here. And thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed. It means the world to us.
You can also join our Patreon. We'll have a link for you below. We are covering The Pit, which is airing on Max over there exclusively. It's the only place you can get those videos, as well as Prime Target, which is now airing on Apple TV. And it's a great way to help support Matt and I here at the channel so we can continue to bring you videos here and cover all of our favorite shows and your favorite shows as well. So thank you so much to everyone who is helping to support the channel.
Yeah, we really, really appreciate that.
Let's talk about Whitesnake. I love the soundtrack for this show. I used to love hair bands. One of the first, not even one of the first, the first concert I ever went to was Motley Crue. I was 14 years old. I had my first summer job. I saved up all my money and I bought tickets to go and see Motley Crue because I loved hair bands. My mom was so mad. She was so mad when I came home with those tickets and she was just like, Motley Crue? Yeah, they have really great music and long hair and they're cute or whatever, but they are a rough band. But my uncle stepped in and took me to the concert. But I just really appreciate all this music because it was sort of from my era as well, where I was really into Whitesnake and hair bands. I never got to see them, but you know, I was just like, oh my goodness, I love this music. It's so good.
I think there's even a real intentionality behind why it's being chosen beyond just the fact that it's awesome. I think it's a real thought process of when we listen to a lot of hair bands or classic rock or anything from this era, I think we kind of relate a lot of it to freedom, where you're going in your car and those of you who have hair, your hair is blowing in the wind and you're having
like a Whitesnake video.
Exactly. And it's just, it represents a freedom that the people in this town don't really have. They have like this illusion of freedom that, you know, as the message in the sky indicates, the sky, you know, you're all being lied to. So they're really playing around well with the music just by virtue of sort of giving everybody a feeling of something, even though that feeling is not genuine.
Okay, let's talk about the message in the sky and Carl. So Carl has a pet, and apparently you can't have pets there, which I actually found to be very weird,
Mhm.
especially after the discussion with Gabby, where she was like, oh, everything is very specific here in Paradise, so that it gave everyone a quick sort of get through your grief and get right back into society again. Oh, we have the best cheese fries, we have this
Yeah.
to give everybody comfort and feel really good and move past their grief. And I'm like, but no pets? That is very weird, because pets is definitely
Yeah.
something that helps people move through their grief a lot faster. It's something that people have companionship with if they don't have companions, or even if they do. It's a really important part of many people's lives that helps people feel happy, which is part of what Gabby was talking about. Oh, we want people to feel happy and feel normal and feel good, but nobody can have a pet.
Yeah, that's just sort of, we're both pet owners and we both love
Yeah.
pets. And so it's a weird thing to imagine, but it was an interesting way to sort of create a foundation for this relationship between Carl and Xavier, where it's
Right.
like they can help each other in some pretty surprising ways. I'll have a minor beef here
Mhm.
just with the name Carl. You can't have both Carl and Cal on the same show.
I
I mean, I
know.
know that I'm being nitpicky about the names, but it's just, can we have just named Carl Fred or something? I don't know, just something to differentiate, because there are people who are going to get confused, because I got confused for a split second here.
Yeah, and after everything that happened here, where Xavier was like, oh, I was supposed to meet up with Billy. Oh, now
Yeah,
Billy is magically gone. He knows that something is up and
yeah,
something is not right. They're changing the lights right by his place. He's
yeah.
like, things are not adding up. And he decides that he's going to pull a really big move by asking Carl, who is in charge of the sky,
Yeah.
to put up this message for everybody. And he is straight staring into the camera at Sinatra, being like, I've made my move. What are you going to do about it?
So freaking cool. So Sterling, look at you, you action hero.
And that's the thing. I mean, does Xavier really have many other moves at
Yeah,
this point? He knows that Cal has been murdered. He's positive that Billy has been murdered.
yeah,
He had information that he wasn't able to give to Xavier. Xavier knows that he's next.
yeah. He also knows that there's nowhere he can really go. Like, he's trying to
Right.
get his kids to pack their stuff. They'll hide out somewhere, but it's like there's not that many places you can go.
Yeah, where are you going to go?
You don't have that much time. I will say this. I'm a little bit suspicious of Carl. I'm a little bit just sort of thinking
Okay.
here that, okay, did you create this whole system with the pet so you could kind of figure out some sort of like trust back and forth with Xavier? You're trying to make yourself appear a certain way. He's coming back willing to help Xavier in this way. You're trying to build a little bit of trust. It could be a smokescreen. You have
Mhm.
access to the sky. You clearly have a decent amount of technological know-how
Mhm.
here, so you
Mhm.
may have knowledge and understanding of some other things. We certainly do not know where Carl was at the same exact time that everything was going down. So it's just, I feel like they're going to make the killer here somebody pretty unexpected who we don't even have an exact motive for yet. I'm not sitting here being like, Carl for sure did it. I'm not that confident about anybody, to be honest, right now. But it's just like, I'm clocking him right now. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, I'm still on the Gabby of it all. I think that Gabby's actually the person that's really in charge. I think she's the one who calls the shots
Mhm.
over Sinatra. I think she just is the person who's calling all the shots. But let's talk about Presley.
Yeah.
Is she the person who killed Cal? Let us know in the comments what you think. What I think
Yeah.
is no. I think that she had an opportunity to get some information about her mom. I think
Mhm.
she probably overheard some conversations and learned a couple things, maybe either through her dad or through somebody else, learned that there was going to be information on this tablet, maybe saw it around and took the opportunity to go in and get the tablet, because we know on Cal's last day, he had the tablet out. He had restricted access to things that he should have access to. And he's like, I'm the president. How do I not have access to the explorers that went out and what happened? This is really weird. He figures out that his dad does have access,
Yeah.
uses his hand to get in and gets in and is able to see everything. So that tablet is unlocked.
Yeah.
So could Presley have just come in, got the tablet, and left before the murder? And that's where I think it is. I don't think she killed him.
Yeah, I have a hard time believing that she killed him, and there's a few different reasons for it. I mean, the most obvious one is this is episode 5. Are they going to reveal the killer in episode 5, and there are multiple episodes still to go? Like, theoretically, sure, but I don't think they're going that direction. And also, just with the way that Dan Fogelman as a producer works, he likes these stories about family, people caring for each other, even though they're flawed. I can't see the daughter here doing it now. I'm going to spoil the Presumed Innocent season 1 finale. And if you do not want to know anything about that, I don't know, skip forward 30 seconds here. But okay. In the Presumed Innocent finale, the daughter ends up being the person who's primarily responsible for it. And I don't think this show and that show are taking cues from each other or anything like that. It just feels like that twist was controversial there. I don't think it would work here. I don't think anybody is watching this show to watch, oh, the daughter did it after everything Xavier already went through. He's now going to go through that.
Yeah, I think she just wanted information. Do I think she would kill for that information if it's about her mother? Yeah, I do. I think that many people probably would. It's a very difficult, weird situation. You know, you're underground, you don't have answers, you want answers. What happened to your mother? You know that your dad is upset, obviously, about what happened. Everybody's upset. Why is the mother not here? Maybe she overheard a conversation between her dad and Cal and knows that Cal knows more than he's letting on. And she wants that information. I think it's all about the information more than the murder.
Here is where I'm actually pretty worried, though, about Presley, is just this idea that she's got this tablet now, and we don't know still fully the mechanics of all this sort of stuff, but it doesn't feel like it's unheard of to me that somebody would be able to track where that tablet is. And
100%.
like, I think she's going to be found out by somebody that she has it, and she's going to end up being in a considerable amount of danger. And because Xavier doesn't know that she has the tablet, there's nothing he can really do to help protect her. And he's of this mindset right now where it's like, okay, they want me, you know, they're not here to come after my kids, though maybe they would do that if they want to get to him. But he's not thinking in this way because he doesn't have that knowledge. And so there's no way for him to know.
I don't know why they haven't tracked the tablet at all. That's my beef. My beef hat is on. I feel like Sinatra and everyone is controlling everything. They're watching everything. How would they have not already tracked where this is and went and got it? It has the most sensitive information, including that the outside world is a place that you can go. Yes, there's damage and stuff that has happened there, but you can still go out there and figure it out. That there was a woman that was out there that the crew was trying to bring back, and Sinatra was like, nope, take everybody out, get rid of them. She can't come back under no circumstances. Is this person Terry, Xavier's wife? I mean, it's possible. I mean, it would be a pretty huge coincidence that she just happened to be the person that they come across. But I mean, how fun would that twist be?
I feel like I'm 70% that that's Terry, and that's probably too high. It's just that these shows love these sort of twists. Like, let's all be honest here. It is overly coincidental, and maybe there'll be a part of me that'll have my eyes rolling. But at the same time, like, there's got to be some sort of really important reason why she was not on that plane, even especially since she was supposed to be on that plane. They had to delete her name. So something happened, and I think it had to have been something that would allow her to sort of persevere. I don't think that this is something just as simple as, oh, she got held up doing X, Y, or Z, and then she's just going to die now, because that's just depressing. And I know these shows can be depressing. I mean, This Is Us was certainly depressing at times. I don't think in my heart of hearts that that's what happened here with her.
Okay, let's talk about Cal's dad.
Oh.
Why does he have access to information that Cal does not? I know that the father, you know, we saw the flashbacks where Cal was like, oh man, I want to be a high school teacher like mom, sort of thing. And he's like, nah, that's not going to be the path you're going to take. Even as an adult, he's telling Cal what he's going to do. Oh, you're going to get into politics, or you're going to pick this side, that side, whatever. And you're going to go to the top. And that's how this is all going to play out. That Cal has really been a puppet. And while he's still, you know, a good guy that wants to do the right thing, he is somebody who is a coward to not stand up for himself, to do what he wants in life. Like, if he really wanted to stand up for himself, he could have done that and been a high school teacher. His father can't actually physically force him into something. He was just mentally beaten down to the point that he's like, fine, I'll be the president. Oh my goodness. And then kind of be like, oh, well, maybe I can turn it into something good.
I loved this entire storyline so much. I mean, a part of it is, of course, Gerald McCraney, Dr. K. Of course, look at you, Dan Fogelman, again, using your same actors for multiple different projects. But I think what makes Gerald McCraney a great actor is that I have seen him play really good characters like Dr. K. I've seen him be some really sinister people before too. So he's somebody who can absolutely play the bad guy. I don't necessarily think that's what's going on here. I think we're just seeing somebody who clearly helped to some extent with the design of this place. They talked about a background in geology and all of that sort of stuff. So he was influential to the community, but he's also somebody who has not always been father of the year here. I mean, he has destroyed his son's confidence, and this is the real This Is Usification of this show, where we get the emotional backstory about Cal and why he is the way that he is. He doesn't have confidence in a lot of what he does. He found himself thrown into this position as president. He's trying to make the best of it. It's really, really difficult. He's got a hard relationship with his son. And by the way, I am still holding on to suspicions about that son, Jeremy. There's just something still a little bit off about you. I'm not saying he did it either right now. I'd probably lean more towards Carl than him, but I'm not completely over him being on the list either.
Yeah, I mean, it was very This Is Us feeling with this, especially watching Cal go through his backstory of the last week or so before he ended up dead, where he did actually have that conversation with the therapist, with Gabby, where he was talking about Billy and kind of some suspicions that he was having. He did the same hand thing as well, where he gave information quietly. He knew something was going on. And he really, a lot of this felt like he wanted to make his son proud, which is what really was sort of breaking my heart. Like, his son did not have respect for him, felt that he was a coward, felt that he was a puppet. You knew that this was coming. You didn't do anything. You could have stood up. You could have done something, anything, but you just chose to keep on keeping on. And I can't respect that. And to watch Cal's last actions be, I'm going to show my son that it's never too late. It's never too late to turn it around. I can stand up. I'm going to make this pasta dinner for him. I'm going to tell him what I know. I'm going to show him that I'm going to stand up and that, he can be proud of me. I know I'm in danger, so I need him to be proud of me. He's making him a CD. Is it a mixtape? Is it something else? Who knows at this point?
Yeah.
But it just felt very much like this was Cal trying to do the right thing in the last moments of his life.
It was really touching and, I mean, in a way, heartbreaking to watch, because I think he's a well-intentioned character in a lot of ways. The pasta scene, let me just say this, Cal. If you had made me pasta, I would have been there, because it is very hard to make pasta. I have very shaky hands. I can make pizza. I've done that plenty of times.
You make a very good pizza.
Oh, thank you.
I would show up for your pizza. I would show up for anybody's pasta. I love pasta so much that if pasta was in an old shoe, I would eat that.
I've never been able to make pasta. So I'm just very, very jealous that, look at you. You're able to get that together. You're trying to be there for your son. There's a sense of real reckoning with his mortality in a lot of these scenes, but there's some important stuff that we learn about in here, namely that he did go to Gabby and they had this conversation. So we know that on some level, Gabby was telling the truth to Xavier, that this message was, brought over from Cal. Now, can you still argue that, okay, is she pulling the strings to try to make sure that a lot of this happened? Like, you can't rule her out as a suspect. It would just be sort of like a lie baked into the truth.
Yeah, no, she's still my number one suspect.
Yeah.
She had way too much control over Paradise.
Yeah.
We know now that the father had quite a lot of control. I mean, it may have even been going back as far as like in the 1990s when he was like, no, you're going to get into politics. You're
Yeah.
going to do it this way. And that everything was already kind of coming together in some ways. So that by the time Sinatra was putting everything together and pulled in Cal's dad and was like,
Yeah.
okay, let's start doing this and getting him into presidential spot so that we can control what happens because you're his father. You can control him. You controlled him into being the president. Like, so if anyone's going to control him, it's you. So it's all so fascinating.
We have to look at this as the detectives in which we are not, because with these sort of crimes, you have to have motive, means, and opportunity, right?
Right.
And if we look at the full list, Gabby is one of the few people who actually, to me, kind of has all three. Like, you can talk about somebody like Jeremy the son and be like, okay, he had a tough relationship with his dad, but that's not motive enough to me.
No, not even him walking out the door and being
Yeah.
basically like, I hope you die.
Yeah.
That's not enough motive for me to think that he actually would do something.
Yeah, and it's just there's a little bit more of a motive, I guess you can say, with Presley, and she
Yes.
might have had some of the means, but was the opportunity fully there? Would she have understood everything about the inner workings of that compound? Like, I have a very hard time with that. With the dad, even, it's still his son, and even though he's got some secrets and all of that, and I just don't fully see all three of them. I mean, there's just a very limited number of people right now who I can say wholeheartedly have all of those things. It's Gabby. I mean, you can obviously make a case for Samantha, aka Sinatra. You can make a case for Jane, but they just all feel too obvious. And that's why
Yeah.
it still feels to me like there is another twist that's coming, or there is another name that's going to be thrown out there. And that's why, Carl, I can't shake you at this point.
I do not think that it's the dad. And I don't think that it's Cal's son either. I mean, Cal's son was back at the house. I mean, the dad
Yeah.
is staying in a guest house there, so they were on the same property. And we did see that Jeremy did actually end up coming back. So while they were kind of like, oh, this person's alibied out, this person's
Yeah.
alibied out, oh, the dad is alibied out. I'm like, why is he alibied out? He was at the house. Like,
Yeah.
that doesn't make any sense. And
Yeah.
Jeremy was also there where
Yeah.
we did have this really emotional moment because we saw earlier that Cal was with his dad and his dad was basically like, yeah, I'm not proud of you. I put you in that spot. I'm proud of myself,
Yeah.
kind of thing, right? Where later he's clearly got like onset Alzheimer's or something like that, where
Yeah.
he thinks that Jeremy is Cal and tells him how proud he is of him.
Yeah.
So they were both there.
Yeah.
And so they had the opportunity, but I just don't know what the real motive would be. Like, I know Jeremy just wasn't proud of his dad and
Yeah.
thought that his dad didn't respect him, thought his dad was complicit in everything. But is that enough to kill him? I just don't think so. And,
Yeah.
Cal's dad doesn't have any motive. He's the person who put him in spot and was
Yeah.
able to continue to have power because Cal is in that spot.
I'm just coming out of this episode, as much as I enjoyed some of these stories, but I'm just feeling that everything with Cal's father and him seeing Presley and nobody really believing that he saw Presley, even though I think he did. I think
He did.
it's just all a red herring. It's something that we're all meant to look over here and think a lot about this moving into the final episodes. But what's so exciting about where we are right now is we still have multiple mysteries in play. I know that the big one obviously is who killed Cal, but we can't forget at the same time just about this idea. It's like, okay, well, why are these people all being kept here? What's really going on the outside world? There's still a lot of missing pieces when it comes to all of that. Like, I can't help but think that all of this is somehow connected in an even greater way than even we perhaps know.
Yeah, I'm also curious to know who's going to end up with Cal's notebook because he
Yeah.
did write a bunch of those secrets out in a
Yeah.
notebook. Where is that?
Yeah, the notebook's still out there. There's still more we have to even think about in regards to the plane, in regards to the number there. I'm glad we sort of had a little bit of a connective tissue with that in this episode.
And we're getting, I think, ready for some sort of rebellion. I mean, Robinson has had this relationship with Cal,
Yeah.
where we did see her there twice, where the first time she was basically like, I love you. I want this
Yeah.
relationship to be a real relationship. I don't want to just be the side piece. And
Yeah.
he's like, it is what it is kind of thing. And she comes back later where he's basically like, I love you. We
Yeah.
will be, as soon as this is over, we will be together. I will divorce. It'll be you and I.
Yeah.
Hey, you really said that you wanted, guns. I have that for you. I'll tell you where it is. It's over here. Here's the code for it. So she knows that that actually exists in paradise.
Yeah.
She has the code for it. She knows where it is. And it sounds like her and Xavier are getting together a plan, that they're the only two people that they could really trust each other because they both loved Cal.
And here is where I'm going to say something that I will perhaps regret. I really trust Robinson. I don't think that she's involved. It's just that
oh no.
I think that Dan Fogelman knows that if she is the killer, it will be really dumb and a lot of people will be really mad because it's just so.
It's always the mistress or it's always the spouse.
Yeah, she just, from what we know, unless she's got some other sort of secret rope in here with Sinatra, it's just like she does not have the motive. Like the idea that, okay, they're not really together. Will they ever be together? Oh, I need to go kill him now. It's like, no, that's just a really silly twist. And that's where this show has done a very good job of getting us hooked, where there's a large list of suspects, but then when we look at the suspects who are actually capable of doing it, it's sort of like when we talk about Marley Murders in the Building and we look, there's like 10 people who could have done it, but then when you look at the evidence, it's really only a few.
I really think it's Gabby. And I think it's because of that session she had with him where he was like, it's Billy, or like, tell about Billy. I think the minute that she heard that and she knows that he was the person who went out and took care of everything, I think she suspected that Cal was onto it and that he knew more than he should know.
Yeah.
And that at that point, she was either told Sinatra to deal with it or she dealt with it herself, whether she sent over Jane, who was there, or whoever to be like, you just need to take care of this because Cal knows way more than he should. He's digging in way more than he should, because the minute that he was like, everything is confidential, right? I'm like, it's not. It's not.
If I was captain of a detective squad here, so I'm putting on the captain's hat here for a moment. Let's say I have 6 detectives that are on under me here. I'm sending 4 of them to investigate Gabby because she is the top suspect. I agree with you there. I'm sending 1 of them to just do a little bit of digging into Carl. Just kind of figure out his movements. I still don't necessarily think it's him, but you just need to do some investigating. And then I'm going to bring the 1 other person. You can go and interview Jeremy the kid. If he's up to something, he's going to crack in that room. You can question him and figure it out. But I think Gabby is number 1 on the suspect list. But you gotta cross your T's and dot your I's. You got to make sure everybody's taken care of here.
I'm sure Carl is going to be brought in after what he did. I mean, there's only so many people that were in that control room. I'm sure they have cameras in there. I'm sure Carl is going to go down for what he did.
Can you imagine somebody else? That is a very powerful job to have. I just have some very ridiculous thoughts of what you could write in the sky in this community.
Oh no.
You open up the window, something out there, who farted? That's like, that's the most immature thing I've probably said in a video in a while, but
well, that's why you're not in charge of the sky, Matt.
Apparently so, but no, that's where we are coming on Paradise Season 1, Episode 5. I think this show is really, really good. It's just really fun to discuss. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you guys don't miss any other reactions, reviews, and as Jess said earlier, you can support us further. Join our Patreon. That link is in the description below. We're covering exclusively there Prime Target on Apple TV Plus, as well as The Pit over on Max. Thank you so much. We'll see you here next time.